like big time fighters that were on the undercard, including Devin Haney, who's this like up and coming lightweight, great fighter. Like you will hear his name here in the future because he will be probably unified champion at some point in time. And then Billy Joe Saunders, who's good friends with Tyson Fury, who's making his U.S. debut. So I think my question to him was, if you could describe yourself for all, these American fans, if you could describe yourself in one short sentence, how would you do so? So not only are we streaming live on DAZN, but we're also in front of the Staples Center on stage with this big PA system, right? And he says a sexy mofo, but he doesn't abbreviate it. And I was just like, okay, so this is my life now, just getting cursed at during these interviews.
I think that's why Scott Rogowski needs to start doing some boxing interviews, because KSI would not be ready for Scott.
No, he wouldn't. And I think it was nice because I added like the element of professionalism and credibility to that whole thing. And I'll never forget, even Logan Paul, I was hosting this red carpet show for the one night premiere that Sylvester Stallone was the executive producer on. And it chronicled the whole Anthony Joshua upset over Andy Ruiz Jr. And like Mike Tyson was in it. And it was just this tremendous film. And they had Logan Paul show up. And I think one of his friends was like, yeah, like maybe she should do some stuff for us. And he goes, nah, man, she's way too classy.
That's a great compliment.
So, that's what I said. And he's like, no, trust me. And like, they get it. A lot of these guys know. I mean, they're master marketers. They've had their own production company since they were 10 years old. So say what you will about these guys, but the more time I've spent around them, the more I've come to realize that these guys they're kind of geniuses in their own right. And a lot of what they're doing in front of the camera is a bit of an act.
Yeah. Lauren, first of all, I want to thank you personally for coming on and doing this with us. This was absolutely an amazing experience. My quick story is that the first time I met you, one of my coworkers actually recognized you and had worked with you previously. And you were in the lobby, right? You were right in the front of the building. And I think you were getting ready to walk out. And we did not know if it was the right thing to do to approach you, but we did it anyway. And I came down with one of my coworkers and another one, my friend Jeff came down, and the three of us, and we introduced ourselves, and you were so sweet to us then. And anybody who's ever met you personally understands this is the real you. Like, you are this sweet and this polite and this courteous and everything in person. And the fact that you did this with us, well, we can't even thank you enough. This is easily one of the best podcasts we've ever done. I've had such a pleasure listening to all your stories and everything that you've even said about the people who work there, including guys like Harold Reynolds and Kevin Weeks. I've had pleasant experiences with those guys too.
Right.
Harold Reynolds introduced himself to me in the cafeteria, asked to know where I was working. And then every time I run into Kevin Weeks in the commissary, he always says hello. So all your experiences are experiences that I've shared myself. And I think I speak for Nick too when we say that it was certainly a pleasure, probably the first time we met you, and it's a pleasure having to have gotten to know you, and it's definitely a pleasure that we've been able to do this. And again, I want to say thank you. I want to say the door is always open for you to come back on. Hopefully we could do this again real soon. And really, in all seriousness, thank you so much. You were great.
Oh, Joe, you have made me cry, I think, like twice during this podcast. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. In a good way. I think I'm emotional, the whole lockdown situation. But thank you. Honestly, you guys have been the most tremendous hosts. I'm thoroughly impressed by the way you guys have run this podcast, and your questions are great. Your research is really, really good and in-depth. I think you knew things about myself that I even forgot. But and same, I remember meeting you and all of you guys, and it's just this like collection of incredible people that are passionate about what they do. And I gotta say, for those listening to this podcast from outside of the New York, New Jersey area, it gets a bad rap because this place is chock full of great people.
All right, that's going to do it for this episode of You Know I'm Right. Lauren's going to go get a box of tissues to cry into. For Lauren
I'm
Gardner.
Not crying, you're crying.
For Lauren Gardner, for Joe Calabrese, I'm Nick Durst. This has been You Know I'm Right.